Welcome to another lecture of our Prolog playlist. Today we will learn about structures inside Prolog. So this type of structure is list. So in Prolog the list is divided into two parts, that is the head and the tail. So head is always one single item and tail part is always the whole list except the first item. Okay, so you can see here is a list of four numbers, that is 1 2 3 and 4. So first the head is 1 and the tail is 2 3 4, and again for the tail is another list, and for that list the head is 2 and the next tail is 3 and 4. So in this way the whole list is divided into two parts again and again. So always head is the single part, first single part, and tail is the whole list except the first part. Okay, so now here we are going to have a program to count the number of vowels inside a list. So suppose here is a member function that is already a predefined function inside list, that is if a member is a part of list or not. Okay, that is suppose we are here giving check vowel function, that is here this will check that the element x or the variable x is a member of the list a, e, I, o, u or not. Okay, so this member function will just give us that thing, okay, that it is the part of the a, I, o, u list or not. So now this check vowel will work as a function, and we will give our main function name as count vowel. So this will have a counter, and this will count number of values or number of vowels, actually that is, this will count the number of vowels inside our list. So let's check count vowel function. So the inside this count vowel we will having two parameters, one is the list and another is the c, that is the counter. So here the list we are dividing it in two parts, that is h and t, and to divide it in two parts we use h, then one straight line, and then t. Okay, one vertical straight line, this is the symbol. So this h is a single element as I have already shown you, and the t is the rest of the list. So here we will check that the h, that is the single element, is vowel or not. So for that we will be using our previous user defined function, that is check vowel x. So we are checking that h is a vowel or not. So if h is a vowel, then we will again call the count vowel function for the remaining part of the list, that is the tail part, and we will increase our counter by 1. Okay, so by using c is c1 plus 1. Okay, so this will work in recurring function. Okay, so this is the recursion we are having again. Okay, so I have already told you how recursion works in our previous videos, so that's we are using here also. And if the first element, that is h, is not a vowel, then we will just go ignore it and go on with the rest of the part, that is the tail part, again with the same recurring function. So we are having two type of recurring functions here. If it is vowel, then we will be having increasing the counter with 1 and again call it the recurring function. And if it is not vowel, that is it is not member of the check vowel the list, vowels list, that is AEIOU list, then it will just call the recurring function and ignore the counter part. Okay, but what is the base condition here? We must have a base condition for recursion functions. Here the base condition must be, that is for the empty list, always the counter will be 0. Okay, so that is our base condition. And now we will understand how the thing is working. So for us to understand this, we will be naming all these three cache of the recursion as 1 2 and 3, and we will be running with them. So I have named the base condition as 1, the vowel found condition as 2, and the when it is not vowel as 3. So we will check it for a sample case and dry run it. Okay, and we will check which condition is occurring when. So let's suppose the string is like this, sorry, not string, the list. Okay, so the list is like this, a, b, o, c, I. Okay, so these 5 are 5 different elements. Okay, I should separate this with commas, inverted commas, but I am just writing it like this. So now it is being divided into h and t. So a will be the single part element, that is the part of h, and the t will be the whole remaining list. Okay, that is the b, o, c, I. Okay, so this is t. So here it will work on rule 2 because A is a vowel. Okay, so it will increase our counter, and in the C1 will become 1, but it is not become 1 here because it will be going into recursion part first. So first we will be calling the recursion function, that is count vowel again, and inside the count vowel we will just pass the tail part, that is BOCI, and another counter. Again for that part we will again divide it with two parts, that is B will be the head part and OCI will be the tail part. In this way it will go on, that is it is getting one element at the head and the rest of the element getting in tail. So by this way we will at last get an empty list inside the tail part, and then it will be called the same count vowel function for the empty list. So when it will be calling the count vowel function for the empty list, it will return 0. Okay, so now again it will return to the previous call of the recurring function, and it will be 0 plus 1, that is 1. So it is getting incremented again, because for I, what rule we are using? For I we are using rule number 3. So that's why sorry, for I we are using rule number 2 because I is a vowel, so that's why it is getting incremented. But C is not a vowel, so we will use rule 3 here, so it will not get incremented for C. Again for O it will also get incremented because we are using rule 2 and O is a vowel, and but for B it is not getting incremented because B is not a vowel. Okay, and at last for A it will again get incremented from 2 to 3 because A is also vowel and rule 2 is being satisfied. So now I will just write the rules which we are using for which part or which execution and see. Now let's run it and see. Here we are having the similar example which we have run in the dry run, and the number of vowels should be 3. So let's run it and see. The result is giving 3, so we are correct. Hope you understand how list works. Do subscribe and like.